Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Joe Cronin Show, youtube.com/Joe Cronin Show. Follow me on Twitter at Joe Cronin Show. 1,400 subs, almost there. Thanks for the 1.5 million views, and call the voicemail 339-226-6610. I'm joined by Chris Tosevich.
Yo.
Monday Night Raw on the 16th, we're going to be joined by this lovely lady, so you want to be there for that. Model Andrea Eve. Woof. And tonight, after Monday Night Raw, we go live here with all of you guys. We're just doing a little warm-up show, a little Monday Night Raw preview show right now. That's what that is. If you want to watch my live broadcast, go to youtube.com/darkestdays11. That's DARKEST DAYS 11. Darkest Days 11. That's where you go to watch my live broadcast until the YouTuber assholes lift the strike and ban on my account. Hopefully it will get there. If you want to send them hate mail, go do it. And tell them the name of my show and tell them your name and tell them they suck and you're going to kill somebody.
Send them rape mail, too. Yeah,
send them rape mail. I'm going to rape something tonight. I'm in the mood to rape something. What's up, everybody? What's up? We're fucking crazy as shit tonight. I don't even know where to begin, what to talk about. Let's talk about SummerSlam. Fucking SummerSlam. Let's talk about... Yeah, let's go back in time a little here. Let's talk about that Night of Champions so far. We'll start there, and then we'll go into who knows where. Maybe into Wonderland, for all I give a shit. I don't work tomorrow. So, how about we start with the first match, right? Let's start with the Divas. AJ Lee versus Natalya versus Brie Bella versus Naomi in a fatal 4-way.
I like that they picked my favorite Divas, at least, that are currently... aside from NXT, that are currently on the main product.
Yeah, my favorite Divas would be NXT. I can't wait. In fact, I think they should just dump the whole Divas roster and just take the NXT girls up. And there you go.
Female Nexus?
A female Nexus. Yeah, exactly. I like that.
That'd be awesome, actually. Have AJ Lee be the forerunner for it, too.
Right. She can
have her bring in a legion of cronies that are all NXT. She's already done the CM Punk pipe bomb. Why not be the CM Punk leader of Nexus?
Yeah. That was awesome, by the way. I remember how awesome and pumped I was when that happened. And then when CM Punk... I think my favorite thing was when CM Punk was like, he had the... What was the thing he had with the chick and the guy?
The Straight Edge Society?
The Straight Edge Society, yeah. I like that. He was being real bizarre. I don't know. I kind of like that thing, and he was kind of nuts. Remember at the Royal Rumble that was my favorite one of my favorite CM Punk moments was him at the Royal Rumble during that time. Remember that?
What happened?
I forget exactly what he did now, so it's weird that I bring it up. But it's like he was in the Rumble for a while, eliminating people, and he was like.
Oh, when he had the Nexus helping him?
Yeah, and he kept
was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, it was...
And he was picking up the mic in between every person he eliminated.
Yeah, he would eliminate someone, then he'd be like, and you know what? And he just...
Oh, it was great. No one ever dealt with a Rumble that way before, where they could just literally sit in the ring talking shit in between eliminating people. Austin eliminated people like that in the past, where he'd just be sitting there looking at his fake watch, waiting for the next person to come out.
Yeah, that was the closest thing. This must have been the 2011 Rumble.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. So
he had some really funny spots in that. Oh man.
Or maybe even the 2010 Rumble, now that I think about it.
Yeah, it was the 2010. Yeah, it was the 2010 Rumble.
That was when John Morrison did that crazy spot on the outside, right? Or no,
I thought it was Kofi Kingston that did that one.
No, yeah, I was talking about the one where he jumped out and grabbed the barrier and then came back in.
Okay, yeah. Was that?
No, that was a different one, I think.
Oh, it was so funny. I forget the stuff that Punk said now. I can't think of the quotes or anything, but he was saying some hilarious stuff. I'm trying to look for it on YouTube now to see hear some of the things he said. I can't quite find it.
There's just some classic shit talking.
Yeah, it was funny too. You know what? If I can't find some clips of this on YouTube at some point, I'm gonna have to buy the Royal Rumble because it was funny. I remember thinking that was the funniest thing of the whole night was him just being someone get eliminated by his cronies and him or whatever, and he'd get back on the mic, and he'd just be like, "Go home and make some fucking pancakes, you piece of you loser." and shave your arms. Like, I don't know. He said some weird things.
He brought like a real indie show, Ring of Honor type vibe to the Royal Rumble, which is so hard to do.
They must not have had a lot of like guest people coming out. Like they didn't have Goldust to come out and take his pants off.
Well, I'm thinking Pat Patterson must have been really impressed with CM Punk's mic skills to write that in, because as far as I know, he's written the Royal Rumble almost from beginning to end every single year for the past, like, I don't know, maybe 2 decades.
Yeah.
And normally, you know, like Vince comes up, or whoever is in charge of creative comes up with the ending, and then he'll write everything else around that. But to write in CM Punk having so much mic time, eliminating so much people, taking up like 20 to 30 minutes out of the Rumble, I mean, Patterson must have had a lot of faith in him to be able to carry it that way.
Yeah, you're right, and he did. He did a real good job. And you don't know, once Pat Patterson takes a liking to you, you know, you're going up in the world, if you know what I mean.
You're going into the shower.
You're going in the shower with Pat. Oh, do you remember the? I wasn't talking. You weren't doing anything with me at the time when the Bret Hart's. Did you watch the Bret Hart ceremony on the WWE app?
No, I didn't do that.
It was like there was a really awkward moment where they brought Pat Patterson, was one of the guys that came out, and like to honor Bret. And, you know, they were kind of being real serious with it and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then Bret kind of made, like, a weird gay joke to him. It was that's what it was, where Bret made, like, a bizarre joke about like, you know, and it was funny because I kept thinking that. Every time they said stuff, all I could think of was, like, oh, yeah, keep it away from Pat or whatever. But then he said that, and then Pat kind of reacted like fuck you, or like type of thing, like, and then like Jerry Lawler was like, all right, like he knows you're whatever, and then like he like tried to like play it off, you know, like they were joking around.
But they give him like a phallic shaped trophy, and he was like, oh, we know Pat Patterson would do with this, and like pretend to shove it up his ass or something.
Right. Wait a minute, I'm gonna find it now, because you got to hear it. Like I got to play it. I got to find it
now.
I have to find this Bret Hart Appreciation Night. That's what it was.
I guarantee when Darren Young came out and everyone made a huge deal about it, Pat Patterson was sitting in the back like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
In his crazy-ass fucking non-distinguishable accent. What is he, French?
Yeah, he is, but he sounds, you know.
He sounds like he's from Mars.
All right, I got it right. Here we go.
Hitman Hart Day!
We got to get to the part where he brings out Pat Patterson, though.
Is Pat Patterson's theme girls just want to have fun?
And, you know, I remember when I first started in WWE, most Americans didn't know where Calgary was. I always felt over my career.
I got to get to the end when Pat Patterson gets on.
Like a quick roll-up or something.
Oh, yeah, Jericho tells this really cool story. Did you ever hear the story what Jericho told about him?
I've been working in Japan and Mexico a lot. And you were there just to give tribute to Stu and everything. There was a bunch of guys in the dressing room. And you were working with Davey Boy on a pay-per-view like 2 days from then, Sunday. And you said, I'm trying to find a finish for my match that's not the sharpshooter because we're continuing this angle. I need something quick, like a quick roll-up or something. Does anybody know anything cool? And I was like, Mr. Hart, I have something. And I just come back from Mexico working with this guy, Negro Casas, who used to do this hold called the Magistral. The guy's on his all fours, you run around, you do a little roll-up, and you pin him. And I told you about that. You said, let me see it. So Sean Waltman was there, X-Pac, got down on his all fours, and I showed him the move, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. And 2 days later, when I was watching the pay-per-view, you used that move. And it just blew my mind that the world champion of the WWE was so classy to take advice from some guy that you didn't know much about. Oh,
that was cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And HBK comes out.
Bret, you established.
Vince comes out.
As indeed. Thank you. You know, I'm
nice
extremely grateful.
Heartfelt.
And on different cities all around.
I think you know what? I think Patterson was first.
I knew a good move.
Casas used to do this hold called the and
I'm trying to find it, man. This is...
I'm going to say it.
Oh, here it is. This is great. I found it. Pat Patterson. He's just got to get his ass into the ring. Yeah, this gets awkward.
Is that his theme?
Yeah, I can't really tell because I'm actually...
I'm going to make this short, you know. I've been in the business for 55 years.
It sounds like he's like
I'm a Canadian.
A monkey in a box next to an organ grinder.
Yeah. So he was trying to take this real serious because, you know, they know how Brett likes to be serious about stuff. You know, so I think he was trying to be serious. I think Brett was kind of nervous, didn't know what to say, you know, so he kind of cracked a little bit of a joke.
We also had a stroke, keep in mind.
Right, but he's also he's just out of he's out of character a little bit with the joke because he's like nervous, I think, and but you
will always be the best wrestling Canadian of all time. Right there. Patrick starts getting on his knees, I start getting scared.
I was just gonna say, whoa, he's gonna do more than kiss him.
That's the most he ever did in his matches. He would occasionally drop to one knee, but thank you, Pat.
Yeah. Okay. So what Pat Patterson did was he did the famous thing that he used to do in the ring when he dropped down to the knee,
right?
Which is something Pat Patterson does, and he was doing it to Brett as an homage to Brett right there in front of him, and then Brett went and insulted him.
Listen, Brett, there's another... play be funny, huh? Okay. I just mean you didn't take many bumps.
Oh, man.
There's another great Canadian wrestler.
It just gets really awkward. Like,
got out of hand real quick.
Do more than kiss him.
That's the most he ever did in his matches. He would occasionally drop to one knee. But thank you, Pat. Listen, Brett, there's another... play be funny, huh? Okay. I just mean you didn't take many bumps. There's another great Canadian wrestler who wants to come out here and talk about the impact.
Everyone just looking around uncomfortable.
Because
Brett pretty much just said, "Hey, Patterson, while you're down there, you want to suck my cock, you faggot?" Terrible, Bret Hart. Jesus Christ. Give the man some respect.
Oh, man. On Bret Hart Appreciation Night, Bret takes it. I think Bret was nervous, so I think, but then Jerry Lawler kind of tried to help, and he kind of made it worse. Like, I think
Jerry Lawler just tugging his collar like,
the look on Lawler's face, the look on their faces explains, like, that's not right. Like, something's wrong there. Oh, man. I loved that. I was dying that night. I had my tablet set up, and I was broadcasting the app over my YouTube. It was real weird. And the video, you can kind of see the video of it, too, but it was pretty cool.
And then Pat Patterson's Appreciation Night was the same night that Jerry Lawler had a fucking heart attack.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're right. I got to give a shout-out to Do You Even Lift, Bro? I didn't realize this, but he was commenting on my YouTube back then. This was 3 months ago.
Oh, wow.
And so 3 months ago. He's been here a while. He's been watching my stuff for a while.
Fucking trooper putting up with us.
Ever since Brett returned, every time he's on the mic, he's awkward. He's always clearing his throat, slurring his words.
He had a stroke.
Well, but it's not even that. Listen. This is what Bret Hart has always been like. Bret Hart has always been a little shaky on the mic. He's never been the best mic guy.
Actually, we had this argument not on the air, but I said I'm not a Bret Hart guy. I mean, we're going to get crucified for saying this on the air now, but yeah, it's just...
I think it's dumb, though, because I'm not a Bret Hart guy either. It's just that I'm like when I was a kid, I always picked Shawn Michaels. My other friend always picked Bret.
Yep.
But being older, it's just someone was like, one day somebody was like, "Hey, dude, what's your favorite 10 matches?" And I was like, let me see. And, I started to think about it. And, and off the top of my head, this isn't official. This is just off the top of my head, like, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, WrestleMania 12. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 14, just because of Shawn Michaels back. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Hell in the Cell. Bret Hart, Roddy Piper, WrestleMania 8. Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13.
Bret Nolan at WrestleMania 10 was awesome.
Bret Nolan at WrestleMania 10 was great, but no, Shawn Michaels and Razor would probably take that.
Yeah. It was still a great match.
Bret Nolan gets lost sometimes, but that was the best match of the night besides Shawn and Razor.
Agreed.
Everything else was.
They stole the show.
I mean, right off the bat too. I mean.
Then again, didn't Brett say he invented the ladder match and they stole it from him?
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, I invented the ladder match. That's right. Because back in he did it in Stampede, back in Calgary. But Shawn Michaels took it to some kind of different level.
Right.
Now, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels had a bunch of ladder matches at one point, and some of them are documented. In fact, I have one of them on most unusual matches ever, WWF Volume 2 or something, VHS tape.
I was just gonna say, is that a VHS? 'Cause
Yeah,
I had Volume 1 of that.
And Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart in a ladder match is on there.
Oh wow!
And
where was it? What the fuck was it from? I don't remember.
It's from like a generic show, like Main Event, or Saturday something.
Wow, how the fuck did I miss that?
You got to see it though. It's really really pretty good. In fact, I hope I have it up if I have it upstairs, I'll figure out a way to get it. But
that was around the time where I had no friends and nothing to do but watch wrestling. So the fact that I missed it is surprising.
I found it by accident. There was every other match on there though was something you saw for the most part. It was
right.
the Dink and Doinks versus Bam Bam and everybody.
Or no, Dink, Doink, Pink. What was it? Doink, Dink, Pink, and Wink.
Dink, Doink, Pink, and one in the Stink. It was all of them.
And then, wait, what was Jerry
fisting.
Lawler's Survivor Series name? It was Sleazy, Cheesy.
Oh yeah, I barely remember that, but you're right.
Back when the Survivor Series was like a serious joke.
Yeah, right. Well, remember when the Survivor Series was real? When they really used to it was all 4-on-4 matches, the whole pay-per-view.
Yeah, and they marketed it as one of the big four, which they still try to do, but it falls so flat compared to the
It's just the
name.
It's just for the nostalgia. This is the 27th Survivor Series in
I
Boston.
mean, you got Mania, you got the Rumble, you got SummerSlam, and I mean, trying to wedge Survivor Series into it now when 4-on-4 matches are terrible. It's just
right, dude. It's messed up. It's CBS Radio. Scott Farrell. Fuck you. Why did I stop doing that? So I rattled off all these things about Bret Hart, and I was like, he's been in these are some of the best matches, and it's because it's always a Bret Hart versus anybody else doesn't work. Bret Hart versus somebody special works. When somebody else elevates their game to the best they can be, the Bret Hart matches are always the best because Bret is just technical, and he actually sells moves really well.
He does.
He actually sells really. He throws punches. He throws his whole body. He's stiff. It seems like. I mean, you never. That's the biggest thing nowadays. Is some of these wrestlers now? It's so stupid. Sometimes it looks horrible. It's loose. Everybody's loose. Where Bret Hart was always kind of stiff but agile. And he threw these stiff punches and these short arm clotheslines and these things that looked real. And that's one of the biggest things I'll say about him is he made it look real.
Oh yeah, there's nothing. I have nothing against the guy when it comes to his in-ring ability.
But that's why he's one of I'm not even a big. It's just his style is you don't have that anymore, which is stupid. It's almost like everyone's trying to be Shawn Michaels, but nobody can pull it off.
Right. I mean, you know when JBL frequently says about Randy Orton, if you were to build a superstar from scratch, it would look like Randy Orton. That's almost how I feel about Bret Hart, where it really is true. If you were to build a WWE-style superstar, it would come out wrestling like Bret Hart. The only problem is the look and the mic skills and the character and
I think
getting me involved emotionally. It just never clicked with me.
The only time he ever got me involved emotionally was when he was a heel and saying America was going to go in the toilet.
And that was the end of his career.
Right, but that was the best.
Career.
That was the best stuff he ever did on the mic.
It was great. It was refreshing. It wasn't just Bret Hart being he was almost a prototype for John Cena in a way, where his whole gimmick was based around I win matches and I'm good and I'm a hard worker. And
he loved that too. When you watch his interviews and his documentaries, he loved that. He wanted to be the good guy that all the kids looked up to, and he denounced the attitude stuff. He started to be like, "What are they doing? What is?"
But he was so boring though. It was John Cena has hustle, loyalty, and respect. Bret Hart was more of just Hank Hill about it, where he was just loyalty and respect. No hustle. No time for hustle.
Well, I think he had hustle, but I actually, you know what? I compare Bret Hart to John Cena exactly. Exactly, now that you mention it, it exactly reminds me of that.
But Cena has a fire behind his eyes sometimes when he's delivering promos. Even if his promos fall kind of flat, he has so much emotion he pours into them. When Bret Hart would deliver a promo, unless he was angry, they would all come off as sounding like either whiny or sad, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, he never sounded. He was always like, even though, remember the stuff he did. I remember Owen Hart and Brett, and Owen Hart would be like,
yeah,
Brett, but you know what? This was the part he was supposed to play. You know what I mean? So I can't get on him too much. I mean, it wasn't going to be like, F you, Owen. You know, he didn't want to wrestle Owen, even when Owen screwed him over. So Owen's like, you know, brother, I beat you, Brett, and I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania, Brett. And Brett said something, under no circumstances will I ever, absolutely, positively, ever wrestle my brother. You know, that's how Bret Hart, Owen, WrestleMania 10. Hold on, WrestleMania 10 promo, and I remember he and Owen cut a promo with the Quebecers or something about the Quebecers when they were tagging up at the Rumble or whatever it was, and he said, you know, but me and my brother put things aside, and we're going to channel our energy against the Quebecers, and blah, 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 like something like that. And that's the most he would talk. All right, here it is. I found the fucking promo.
Right now, guest, it's going to be Lex Luger.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm not saying that. This is Johnny Polo taking his pants off.
Excellent.
Let's see if this has the...
Playing some panty polo.
I hope I can find the promo because it's a great example. And you're right. They're talking to him in the locker room. Under no circumstances will I ever wrestle my brother Owen. You know, and he's like, and then Owen's freaking out. Here it is.
Let's go back to last year's Survivor Series. Keep your eye on the Rocket as he hits his brother, the Hitman, into the steel
accidental.
garter. And then check this out. 1, 2, 3. The Rocket gets pinned.
I was at
by
that
Shawn
Survivor
Michaels,
Series.
The only Hart brother eliminated.
It was in Boston.
He's not too happy about it. Check this out. A verbal and physical assault against his brother.
Owen Hart beating up. Well, Owen Hart's shoving Brett, all the Hart brothers. It's funny, he's the only one wearing pink.
Owen Hart.
Brett.
Brett, there's only one way to solve this thing, with me being the shadow of you, the Hitman. That's right. Why don't you go out and step up to the plate? You and me, face to face, one-on-one. I'm challenging you, Brett, my brother, to a fight one-on-one.
I'd like to live up to those words of saying I'm the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, and I take on anybody, but under no circumstances would I ever, absolutely, positively not ever step in the ring with my own brother under any circumstances.
But I think he's trying to do like a real, back room type of interview promo there.
Yeah, but he always just sounds like an old Canadian grandfather in a fucking log cabin.
Listen to his dad, Listen to his dad.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like he was one of those people who imitates their dad at such a young age to where it's like,
yeah, well,
he's the kid who went to school wearing a suit or carrying a briefcase.
Here's him with, and here's another reason why. By the way, I say if somebody out there's listening, if you haven't seen Roddy Piper versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 8, then go kill yourself.
Oh, it's excellent
because it's the best.
Superb.
And the promo beforehand is hilarious, and here it is.
As a matter of fact, this is the first time these two men are meeting for the World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental title.
Hey, when it meant something.
Roddy Piper, his opponent, a former IC champion himself,
the two baby faces.
number one contender, Bret the Hitman Hart. Gentlemen, we have arrived.
We have arrived. I gotta say, first of all, man, I gotta tell you how much I loves your family. I gotta tell you how much I loves your mom. I knowed you. I know this guy since
he knowed him.
Been knee-high to a grasshopper. I remember when they were changing your body pants. I remember even
We're listening to a master right now.
It's funny because Bret Hart, takes himself too seriously, so he's standing there looking like he would, and then Roddy Piper's just like, I'm a complete buffoon, fuck.
Body pants!
Yeah, right.
Body trained till he was 7, but everybody's got their problem. Remember tying bows in our shoes when we were kids? Of course, your shoes were always tied together. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me because I remember when Mrs. Hart used to come down, man. She used to make them sandwiches, man. Throw on the bologna. Only one piece of bologna, but that don't matter. I was hungry. Then she'd come up and she'd go to her little... What is this?
Yourself.
Oh, this is nice, huh?
Keep your hands
Here
to
I am
yourself.
having a little fun trying to make you at ease. Going to have a nice to keep them to yourself. Have a nice contest, and here you want to be a hero all of a sudden, huh? You want to be a hot shot all of a sudden. You want your belt all of a sudden. Is that the idea, huh?
Look, all I care about is one thing. I want to win back the Intercontinental Belt. You got it. I'm going to take it. That's
You keep your hands to yourself. Let me help you out a little bit, buddy. We can settle argument. Oh, yeah, you damn betcha we can. Why do it here when I can have 1 million people watch me rip your head off?
would have had you.
No, you wouldn't have.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen.
Bye-bye.
Bret Hart on.
See, Bret Hart looks good, but he just can't cut a promo. But
No, to save his life.
but
Real quick, Roddy Piper sounds like a mixture between Bill Cosby and Robin Williams.
But if you fast forward to 1998, and Bret Hart, bashing America.
Yeah, that stuff was really, really good.
It was epic.
His later days in WCW were awesome because of that.
Yeah, he just was a great heel, and it took a while to figure that out, I think. And that's the thing, is he could not talk as a babyface, although that's what he loved and what he wanted to do.
Yeah, he didn't want to be a heel.
He didn't want to be a heel, but everything he did was, when he did it, it was great. It was like, I hated him. That was the most, there was a small, short time when I liked Bret. When I liked him the most. But it was only short because I really was I really want to like Shawn Michaels. I really want to like somebody else. And there was actually a time when I got sick of Bret, because Bret, even though I do love Bret Hart, and I mean, as a, for what all the matches that he gave and that I watched and everything and all that stuff, he is my opposite. He is, because I had a friend at the time, who was kind of like Bret Hart, more full of himself, kind of like the type of thing where he could come over your house and step all over your furniture. But if you went over his house, he was crazy about it. Don't do anything to my stuff.
Was he quieter and more hardworking?
Right, and he was quieter, more hardworking, exactly like that, same thing. And I was more, the type of thing where we go on vacation, I'd find a girl. And then maybe he wouldn't, or we'd both be talking to a girl. He'd be mad about that. It was like we were Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, and eventually we hated each other. But it was
now that you mention it, it would have been really funny if they build that Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels were friends when they were kids or whatever, and that Bret was vindictive that Shawn Michaels would always get fucking dates for the dance and shit.
Right, yeah. If they only didn't live completely the opposite sides of the North American hemisphere almost.
So Shawn Michaels smoking a cigarette, drinking a beer, and getting a blowjob. It shows Bret Hart studying, and Shawn Michaels' ashes are falling into his books or something.
It's the classic, he doesn't work for anything and he gets it all. And I work hard as hell and I have to fight just to get it up.
Exactly.
And
we were kind of brainwashed as kids also to think oh, remember Bret Hart, the old farty guy who used to wrestle Doink the Clown? Well, that shit's old now. Shawn Michaels is here with rock and roll music to make you cool again,
Right. And a lot of people didn't like Shawn's stuff. And you know what? I got to say, I as a person, even as a kid, I liked Shawn Michaels and the Rockers because I was a kid then. And I loved the Rockers because I was a kid. But then when he did that shit to Marty Jannetty, I was so shocked. That's when I never stopped watching wrestling after that. It was like seeing, if you're younger and you saw September 11th, or if you were even younger and you saw, Kennedy get assassinated, you're older. I never want to turn the TV off, even the Boston Marathon bombing. I'm sitting here watching the marathon in the background, and the next thing you know, I'm seeing body parts on TV.
You just start thinking anything can happen now.
I'm never turning this thing off. I'm not turning this box off. And so I never turned off wrestling after that. And I loved Shawn Michaels as that bad guy. Nobody liked him. And I loved him. And I hated it because they made him lose. So I'd be 6 years old. It's WrestleMania 6. 7 years old, 8 years old, 8 years old, WrestleMania 8. And he'd lose a lot. Not at WrestleMania, actually, but he would lose a lot, and it would be the only thing that was good was they actually put the IC belt on him for long periods of time when he was bad. Mm-hmm. And I cried my eyes out when not a lot of people did, I don't think, because they liked Razor, but I was crying when I was 10 because Shawn Michaels lost, and I thought it wasn't fair that his arm got stuck on the rope.
Oh, that time. Okay.
I was enraged as a 10-year-old.
I thought you were talking about when he got beat up in Syracuse and had to relinquish the IC title.
No.
And
that was, I think I was
Shane
older.
Douglas ended up with it, actually, when he was Dean Douglas, and then just briefly before
I was
Razor
older
beat him or
then.
something.
I think I was 13 then.
Yeah.
So then I wasn't crying then. But when I was 10, I cried at WrestleMania 10 because I was still a kid. And I was mad that the whole crowd didn't like him, too. And I was like, oh, I hate those people. So I hated Madison Square Garden. So I'm from Boston, so we hate New York anyway. But I don't hate New York.
Side note, people say this about metalheads, and I guess you could say it about professional wrestling in general anyway. But looking back, being such a big Shawn Michaels fan, I'm surprised I didn't turn out gay.
Right.
I mean, he would walk to the ring wearing long, dangly earrings and a vest and no shirt, and the vest would be covered in mirrors, and he'd be wearing like leather chaps with the crotch cut out and a heart there. It's like, if I dressed up as Shawn Michaels for Halloween and I went to like 3 or 4 houses, I'd probably get my ass fucking kicked.
Or you'd get raped.
Raped, yeah.
See, I didn't like the Shawn Michaels when he started doing the whole boyhood dream. After he won at WrestleMania 12, I didn't like him
Kind
as
of
much.
fizzled, yeah.
Yeah, no, I did like his matches. He was always
I marked
good.
the fuck out when he won at 12, at WrestleMania 12, but then after that, like you said.
Yeah, it started to just kind of dwindle into this weird
But he feuded with the
mode.
British Bulldog or something stupid like that.
Yeah, I mean, they had good matches. I mean, every match was good, so it doesn't matter. Even when Shawn came back for his second run, when he changed even when he was acting goofy and stuff, it didn't matter. I just wanted to see his matches. So, but there will be no comparison because WrestleMania 14, 13 era and the beginning of the Attitude at its finest, Shawn Michaels was unbelievable on the microphone. Like, I mean, he would just shred stuff. Like when he went out there, I mean, that was crazy.
His only downtime, I think, was between WrestleMania 12 and DX.
Yeah, you're right. Right before DX started, and then it was like he was lost for a while. And then when he and Triple H
he
got
achieved
together,
his dream. What the fuck was he going to do from there?
Right, the boyhood dream came true. So he went home and fucking did Klonopins.
That's sadly fucking true story.
Then the adult dream came true. The adult nightmare.
Woke up in a
came true.
hospital.
But now he's found God, and now he kills animals, so it's okay.
Yeah,
it's all good now. Now I love you, God, but let me kill some fucking deers with a bow and rifle. And I
was killing myself with pills and drugs and alcohol, so I decided to kill something else instead.
Bambi. Fuck Bambi. Taking one in the head, and then it's like everyone's always like, "Oh, I'm such a good marksman, and what a shot I made." It's like, yeah, why don't you go fight the deer with your hands? See what happens.
You find out he's actually hunting by fucking drugging the deers with his leftover pills from when he was an addict.
I love Shawn, though. I mean, like, oh, God. But what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I'm mad he didn't answer a few of my tweets, so now fuck you, Shawn. That's it. I'm going to throw out that...
He didn't respond to you personally?
No, I'm going to throw
out
that...
What a dick.
I know. I'm going to throw out the WrestleMania 12 mat piece that I have in the signature on the mat piece that you whatever you did. You signed like 1,000 of those things.
I'm going to flush the tuft of Shawn Michaels' chest hair that I picked up off the floor after a house show. I was kidding. That didn't happen.
That would be weird. That would be very weird.
Why would his chest hair be falling out is my question.
I had Bret Hart glasses. Yeah, well, his hair's falling out now. I had those Bret Hart glasses. I remember
Did he put them on you?
No. But I remember being like, this is bullshit. I want to be in the front row so he can put them on me. Like, you just bought them at the concession stand. And I was like, oh, anybody can get these. I remember just thinking that, like, I didn't know that. I didn't realize they sold them. And they were the cheapest things, like, unbelievable. Like, you could put them on and they'd snap off your head the wrong way.
Right. But still, when I was a kid, even
awesome.
as a kid, I didn't like Bret Hart, but I still wanted to be the person in the front row and have Bret Hart put his fucking ski goggles on my face.
Right.
And be like, oh, yeah.
I felt the same way. Like, I guess that's the closest I can like, John Cena is a great example. Because he's not quite... He's like Hulk Hogan to some people. But to me, he's just like blah. He's boring and fizzled. And that's what Bret Hart was like even when I was a kid. Like you said, he was boring, but I knew his matches would be good. So like none of that other stuff bothered me. Like even as a kid, I was like, this guy's good. Like I'll watch every Bret Hart match. But there was no build up ever, unless it was the Attitude Era with Stone Cold. There was no like, oh God, I can't wait to see how, this rivalry between Bret Hart and whoever. None of those rivalries mattered. It was the matches that were good.
Yeah.
But, which is good.
His rivalry with Austin, I think, was really good.
Yeah, that was the best. There you go, Attitude Era. Stone Cold and Bret Hart, that was his best rivalry. And it was, they both just brought the best out in each other.
They really did. It revitalized Bret Hart, and it really just made Steve Austin who he is today.
Right. And at the time, I felt a little weird because I was like, I really do like Bret Hart, but I hate him now, kind of. Like, I'm just sick of him. He's boring, and I'm sick of him whining, and he goes away, and now he's back, and I like...
hating Bret Hart is what kind of made me into a smark almost, or at least like a full-on smark, because that's when I didn't like Bret Hart, and I loved Austin. And when you get into a position where you're cheering for the heel, you start to seek out other people who are cheering for the heel, and then you start to find out why they are doing so, and so on and so forth, and you start to, realize, oh, it's not just cheering for the good guys and booing for the bad guys. It's more complex than that.
Right. Guys,
so Bret Hart, by playing the role of the face, and me almost at a young age, almost like a young kid right now would boo Cena, me booing Bret Hart back in the day and cheering for Austin, it was, kind of a big important step in my me being a wrestling fan.
Yeah. I think I would cheer for like Dean Ambrose if I was a kid, maybe. Dean Ambrose or who else? I mean, I'd probably like Daniel Bryan. I'd like CM Punk, I bet.
I probably have a lot of sticky pictures of AJ Lee floating around my room.
Yeah, I'd have that too. Anyway, follow me on at Joe Cronin Show on Twitter. Andrea Eve, by the way, September 16th, Monday Night Raw, the night after Night of Champions.
Speaking
Andrea
of sticky
Eve.
pictures.
Ooh, she's going to be on the show, guys, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to deal with it, to be honest. I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to try our best to see who can give a call in to the show and turn her on. And if you can call in with your best lines, best pickup lines, best attempt to turn her on, then if you can do that, we're going to be giving away a DVD.
You know those little strips that they have in cell phones behind the battery to let you know if it's been water damaged? Well, we're going to have one of those in her panties. And if it turns blue, then you win the DVD.
Pregnant. And she's pregnant and you're a dad.
She's pregnant and you win the DVD.
And you win child support for 20 years. Whatever, 18 years. What the fuck? I wish Tommy was awake so I'd just prank call him right now. Anyway, I think we started like a long time ago talking about like the matches at Champions.
Oh, yeah.
We got through one.
All right, so we're past the Divas. That was the Divas match predictions that we just went through.
And then we went. And then World Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio versus Rob Van Dam. Which obviously,
am I crazy for thinking RVD might take this?
I think so.
I mean, all right.
Unless they're setting up RVD Dolph Ziggler, I don't know.
Did you hear Alberto on commentary the other night?
No, I missed that. No, I heard some of it.
He was atrocious on commentary. Like, either he literally doesn't know English, which I don't think is true.
No, he knows English.
Sure,
yeah,
his accent is pretty forced. I'm pretty sure. But or he just cannot talk on the mic. It's impossible. At one point, he goes, you know what RVD stands for in Spanish? And then Michael Cole's like, what? What does RVD stand for in Spanish? Then there's a long pause, and he says nothing. And then like the match is going on, and then you hear him go, JBL? And JBL's like, this is a family show, Michael. We can't tell you what that means. It's a family show.
You're right. I heard that. I did hear that.
And then later Michael Cole goes, oh, I guess the Rosetta Stone lessons stopped on that one. And then Alberto says nothing again. And then you just hear JBL again say, no, it's a family show. That's why he can't tell you. Like, just desperately trying to say what the fuck.
He did have a good moment in that commentary. That part was terrible, and I don't know what he was getting at and what was going on. Obviously, he forgot his line or forgot something, and JBL picked it up well, which was good.
He saved his ass.
He did a great job. But then he called him, I think whenever he gets nervous or whenever Alberto doesn't know what to do, he resorts back to, the RVD, he's just a dog. And I'm gonna get him. He's just a pedo. He's like, he loves to say pedo. You're just a filthy pedo. Like that's why Alberto Del Rio doesn't work as the number one heel. We talked about this. He's like the number 2 heel, 3 heel.
Yeah.
He'll never be the number 1 heel, and that's why they tried to liked him face because they're like, well, he talks kind of nice, and
that kind of worked.
Yeah, it did, but I was like, I like him as a heel better. I think he's better as a heel.
I think I just liked it because it was refreshing, and then it kind of wore off.
You were like a dog. He should have been Khan in Star Trek, but he can't act. He was really good. Instead of hiring a white British guy to play Khan. He's supposed to be an exotic. I'll never get over that. Let's see what else. So let's skip past, because who cares? Who gives a damn? I think RVD loses 70-30. I'm 70% sure that Alberto Del Rio will win.
I think it's 50-50 because everyone's fucking sick of Del Rio. No one gives a shit right now.
Maybe. But I still think they want him to feud with Rey Mysterio. So what I'm thinking is you could have Alberto Del Rio still feud with Rey Mysterio when he comes back. and RVD could wrestle Dolph Ziggler for the title.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Unless our Dolph is so far buried. I mean, obviously his comments to Randy Orton and the way he carries himself in the locker room is very... See, it's a fine line you have to walk in the WWE because they like that whole ruthless aggression thing, or they like the whole, have some balls. Like if you want to fucking be the number one guy, we want to hear it.
They go slap Vince in the face with your dick or something.
Right, like act like you own it, like Shawn Michaels did in 1998. But there was no rules then, and he created rules. He decided, I'm going to test these. He just said, I'm the guy, and fuck you. You know what I mean?
And people hated him for that.
Right, and
Undertaker especially.
He burned bridges across a forest of crystal. I don't know what to say. He was.
What the fuck does that mean?
No, what did I just say?
Burned bridges across a forest of crystal.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. So no, but anyway, what the fuck? He did all this horrible shit, and that's what got him to where he was, though. That's what got the click going. That's what them got to speak up, Then ruthless aggression, then everything. But I feel like Dolph Ziggler really is in that weird area where he really sort of embodies he's awesome and believes it and is mad, thinks he is the number one and can be the number one, and it's bullshit that he's not. And the
problem with that is Zack Ryder is recently feeling that way, even though I don't think he stands up at all to Dolph Ziggler. So I mean, I really don't want to see Dolph go that direction. I want to see him stick it out.
Yeah, and I think you will. I think the problem is WWE shoving him around, shoving him back. I think he's so cocky that he rubbed Randy the wrong way, and that's why they knocked him back.
I think he's also pissed that he got that concussion, because who knows what the fuck they would have written for him if he didn't have to spend so much time off camera.
Yeah, you're right. That did mess him up a little bit, but he got right back on top recently, and then they knocked him right back down again. I mean, he should be in line for the world title.
Right.
The only thing I can think, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, what's next? It depends on what happens between Bryan and Randy Orton, but I got to believe Daniel Bryan. It's almost like they're setting it up for Bryan to win because of how badly he's being pushed down, but you can't believe that he could win because of Triple H's power and all the stuff, and plus it's Night of Champions.
Right.
And,
how many times did CM Punk defend his world title when we thought, okay, he's had it for a year now. This is going to be the time.
Yeah. I could see Orton holding the title till WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I mean,
they could pull it off. It would be tough, and they'd have to keep up with what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Without letting it get stale. But they could do it.
What do you do after Daniel Bryan faces Randy Orton another time? After this Night of Champions, you really can't do another one.
Right.
But they set up Survivor Series for I don't think that they're going to put the belts in Survivor Series matches. You can
have Triple H turn on Orton and put the belt on someone else who he wants to be the face.
You want to hear my
He's
idea
not.
for Survivor Series, by the way?
Yeah.
All right. And I thought of this the other day. At Survivor Series, you have 4-on-4 matches, and the champion, the IC champion, is in the match, right?
Yep.
And he picks a team of 3 guys. Then the other team picks a team of 4 guys. Just like, you would obviously think. Then they have a match. The winner... Oh, you know what? This wouldn't work because I was going to say the winner gets the IC belt.
But what if there's
what if there's 4 winners on the other team, right? You know what would be cool?
It turns into a fatal 4-way or a triple
yeah, then
threat.
it turns into a fatal 4-way. You're right, something like that. Or like it turns into a 4-man battle royal or something like. Think about that. Think of how entertaining it would be if it was a 4-on-4 IC belt, and Curtis Axel gets pinned right away and he's out, right? And then the winning team then are the ones that compete in the battle royal.
That's what was great about ECW. Like, for instance, they had, when Taz was going to the WWE, they had Taz versus Mike Awesome versus Masato Tanaka, who was an excellent Japanese wrestler at the time.
He was great.
And what they did was, it was a 3-way dance, not a triple threat. And in a 3-way dance, it's elimination rules. In the first 30 seconds, Taz, the defending champion, got eliminated. And then you knew, like, after the first 30 seconds, they were like, holy shit, okay, well, the champion just lost his title.
Yeah.
The rest of this match is going to be a new champion. Let's see who it is, you know? And like, you're right. It added so much excitement to it.
It's like Elimination Chamber almost. But,
yeah.
I don't know what I was getting at with that. I don't know why I went into that. But I was thinking, it wasn't, I don't think it was that I was thinking of. It was something else the other day with Survivor Series, but whatever. Screw it. I'll think of it. Maybe it'd be nice if the Intercontinental title was defended at Survivor Series. How about that?
Yeah.
I mean,
or anytime.
It's almost unrealistic. I mean, I can't fathom what they're doing with the belt. But I mean, remember, even the belt started getting diminished like in 1999 or like 2000, after like 2000 and on. But then you think about the people that had it in those early 2000s. It was like, you know, like D'Lo Brown had it, or maybe he had the European title.
He had the European and the IC for a little bit.
So he had both. Then Gold Dust had it. Road Dogg had it. Val Venus had it. Godfather had it. You know, think about all the mid-carders that passed around, and maybe Billy Gunn had it. Maybe Billy Gunn didn't have it. No, you know what? I don't think he did. He had the hardcore belt. He had the hardcore title.
Actually, wait, as the one Billy Gunn, he got kind of a push. Maybe he had it then, but I don't think so.
He was the best as Mr. Ass, and then they changed. They had to change the ass thing, so then he had to have that match, and he couldn't be called Mr. Ass anymore.
Yeah,
that pissed me off because I love.
Speaking
him.
of pissed me off, around the same time when Jeff Jarrett used to write "Don't piss me off" on his guitar and shirt and everything.
That's right. He had the belt a lot too.
Actually, he was a pretty good Intercontinental champion.
Right, he was a legit guy.
I fucking hate the guy. He was really, really good in the ring and a good on. And
he had it back in the early '90 days too. So.
Right, but as I was saying, when I remember buying his action figure back in like, I don't know, maybe 2099, around that time when he had the "Don't Piss Me Off" thing going on, and on his guitar, instead of "Don't Piss Me Off," it said "Don't Make Me Mad."
That's awesome.
So terrible. Like why couldn't they just censor it? Like put a couple like asterisks in there.
I would have taken scribble writing instead of "Don't make me mad."
Seriously, don't. Please don't anger me, thank you.
Don't make me mad, bro. Hey, suck my.
It should have just said "Don't make me sad" with a sad face, and he should have been crying as an action figure.
Oh man! All right, I think I gotta go to bed. This is crazy. Let's run through the rest really quickly. We kind of talked about Orton versus Daniel Bryan. I don't know, man. It's tough to make Bryan lose again. I mean, but he did win at SummerSlam and then lose. So if he lost here, I mean, you got to be expecting some kind of bogus crap, right?
What I don't want to just see it end in disqualification or like Shield interference or something stupid like that. I want them to come up with a clever way to keep the title on Orton, not just the classic stupid way.
Yeah, I don't.
If Orton walks away with the title, I want to think like, well, they really got one over on Daniel Bryan. Not, oh, that was a cop-out.
But how would they, I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it other than something with a run-in or somehow a run-in something.
Someone's got to turn.
You know
if
what?
Someone turns and surprises me, that'd be cool.
You know what, though? That would be interesting. Yeah, you're right, a turn. You know what it would be? It'd be like the Big Show.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Like, they'd be like, the referee's knocked down, the Shield's out there with Randy Orton, and they're kicking the crap out of Daniel Bryan. And then the Big Show comes out and runs to the ring, and everybody's like, you know, and this is something he's already done before in the NWO, but then he comes out and everybody's like, oh, you know, Show's coming to help the Shield or whatever. And then he just, you know, just destroys Daniel Bryan, and then that's it. That would be the safe way to end it if Orton's winning.
The Big Show just did that.
You're right, and he's done it a million times. It's so stupid, it's ridiculous. But that's the safe way to do it. Or you could have somebody else doing it. I mean, my thing was, someone mentioned to me, a lot of people are really, this happens like every 6 months, but a lot of people are really talking about Cena coming back as a heel, like being mad that Bryan beat him. But it was like, yeah, well, then why did he shake his hand and everything?
No, if he would have to.
None of that makes sense.
He'd have to pull the whole "I'm fed up with everything" or "I'm having a mental breakdown" type of thing to become heel.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he's so honest and genuine with the fans. Like, whether or not you want to put those terms in quotes is up to you. But he's so honest and genuine with the fans that, like, for him to turn heel, it wouldn't fly if he was just like, oh, and then I was mad. Like, no, he's the one wrestler who doesn't say that.
He could get crazy though. I mean, like it would have to be everybody would have to be turning on him.
They could say that his wife was trying to sue him or something crazy, and his ex-wife was mad at his relationship with Nikki Bella or something like that. I don't know, something crazy to literally make the guy snap on camera.
Right.
Almost like they did with AJ Styles and TNA.
Well, Bella's hated, so like all these things fit together well if only the whole crowd would turn on him. I think the only way it works is if everybody, like 90% of the crowd turns on him.
He's got to get little kids booing him, and that's
right.
I don't know how to do
because like we said, if you flip, what people don't understand is if it's 50-50 at best, right? Mm-hmm. And you flip them, well then it just flips 50-50 because then the people that hate him are actually going to like it.
Right.
And the people that like him are going to then hate him. And
like when Daniel Bryan won Money in the Bank and he was doing his whole yes thing. And everyone, oh no, actually, it was after he won Money in the Bank and he actually cashed in and won the World Heavyweight title. And he was doing his yes celebration. And everyone was like, yeah, the underdog won. This is awesome. And then he did it after his next match. And people were like, oh, okay, well, that wasn't a very important match to win. And then he kept doing it and kept doing it. And then eventually, like you said, it went 50-50. To all the people who were like, yay, underdog, we're like, all right, we understand. You won your fucking match. Stop saying yes. You're an asshole. Meanwhile, the Smarks were like, oh, this is so fucking funny. This is like the best thing in a long time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And that's
just made this 50-50 flip.
You're right. And now, and it's all the kids. The problem is the kids are still kids, so you don't know. You could change his music. That would make people hate him, maybe. You know, I don't know.
Change it to something dreary.
Yeah, change it to like, dang, dang, come from the streets. You know, he's just, just something ridiculous. How about he comes out to Ice Ice Baby? That would make people hate him.
Just come out to Too Cool's theme.
CM Punk versus Intercontinental Champion Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman handicap elimination match. I think this is obviously CM Punk's redemption. He's got to beat Axel, I would think, here. Because he's got to get a win.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he'll necessarily get his payback on Paul Heyman yet. But he will win the match. And Paul Heyman will squeak away somehow at the end. And, whatever. Or Paul Heyman will turn on Axel.
As much as I was going to say that, because as much as I'm looking forward to this match, without the IC belt being on the line, I have to admit, I don't give too much of a shit about it.
Either.
I really don't.
If they put the IC belt on the line.
It could be a great match, sure, granted, but the thing is, we just saw CM Punk go toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar and almost win if you take out the interference from Paul Heyman.
Right.
And that's crazy. That's superhuman level. That's John Cena level. That's Triple H level. That's really putting him up in the upper echelon here. So why the fuck am I supposed to believe that he's not going to be able to beat Curtis Axel? Especially because he has at house shows, at SmackDown.
Why does Curtis Axel lose to Kofi Kingston? Why is the IC belt not on the line?
Am I really watching this just to be like, oh, it's obvious that CM Punk's going to beat Curtis Axel to be satisfied watching him get his hands on Paul Heyman? Or am I watching this thinking, oh, they're making Curtis Axel look like so little of a threat because they're going to give him a super push and have him win? But either way, if it's not for a title, nothing's going to shake up so much to where I'm like, oh, that's a game changer. Like, nothing could possibly happen in this match to make me think, oh, holy shit. Like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going there.
Right. And maybe it'll be a good match or something. If something crazy.
It probably will be a great match.
But it's still annoying that the IC belt isn't on. It just doesn't make sense why it's not. Doesn't make sense. You make Curtis Axel in the match. You make the belt again. Whoever it goes to, you make the belt, you make Curtis Axel, but instead it's just a waste. It's just a decoration.
Why the fuck is it called Night of Champions? Why didn't they change the name?
Right, stupid. WWE, you suck. You're dumb, and I'm going to bed. I think we've had enough, guys. At Joe Cronin Show on Twitter, 339-226-6610. Leave me your voicemails, and we'll see you tonight after Monday Night Raw live. If you're on the web, you can just go to my channel, youtube.com/Joe Cronin Show, click the video. Or but if you're on your mobile device or if you just can't find it, you got to go to Darkest Days 11 because that's where I'm broadcasting from until 6 months, and YouTube lifts the ban on my account. So you got to go to youtube.com/Darkest Days 11 to watch my live Raw review tonight. That's where we're all going to be. That's where everybody else will be joining us from, and we'll be taking your phone calls after Raw and playing your voicemails. Chris will be here, I'll be here, and a few other people as well. And we got some special stuff in line for you tonight, and we're going to be still trying to give away that DVD. If we get to 1,400 subscribers tonight, we're going to give away a awesome DVD, and you can win it by calling in once we hit 1,400 subscribers. So stick around for that. Guys, I'm going to bed. I'm going to suffocate myself in my own pillow. Good night, Chris.
Good night.